behalf of the board. Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate you
You're
doing
welcome.
so. You know what? There's a chance, Fred, this might, well, I wouldn't want to prejudge, but we could get through this pretty good. We could get through this at a pretty quick rate.
Okay. Standing by with a pen and paper and ready to answer any questions.
So how are you managing there with your second family and all the little, and the fact that they're home all day long? You managing that, Fred?
It's easy for me to manage. I go to work in the city and Lefty's home with the kids.
There we go.
We could get through this pretty good.
I see.
Through this at a pretty quick rate.
Yeah. So what do you mean? You just, yeah, because you're one of those essential people that just go to work.
Yep. Back at work at NYU Langone Medical Center. So
Yeah.
And all the little, and the fact that
Wait a
they're
second.
home
What's
all
all that bit?
managing that, Fred?
it's easy for me to manage. I go to work in the city and Lefty's home with the kids. Sounds like we're getting a replay.
Yeah. well, that's
Yeah,
always-
I think that's the YouTube in the background. Let me see what I can do.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we got to do that. Oh boy. Can you imagine anybody dialing into this? Whew.
Hold up.
I got rid of it.
Okay, I think I fixed it. I'm still learning how to do the YouTube part.
What about the chief? Anybody seen the chief?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, well, gosh, this
I
meeting
saw him
could
on
get-
Sunday. I mentioned it to him and he knows about it.
Sure. Well, we just see how we go here. We're 7 o'clock. We'll give we don't have any choice but to give everybody a couple minutes here because we don't have a quorum just yet.
Anybody hear anything from Sandy?
Sandy's going to be late.
Oh, there's the chief.
There's the chief.
Dave, when are you guys going up? Did you go up to sign checks yet? I didn't see that report from Diana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got all the checks signed, everything's done.
Okay.
She had said she was gonna send it to you and she wanted you to send it for some reason.
Yeah, but she didn't send it to me. I would have put it with my link for the meeting with all the other attachments. I didn't get it.
But I had Sandy and I sign the checks and then yesterday I went over to see Nat and he signed the vouchers. So we got 3 names on the vouchers, the checks
Cool.
are signed and I have the thing here. I can make a copy for you of it.
No, that's fine. I just need to hook up with you at some point. I got a new contract from Bear Mountain that's got to get signed.
Okay, no problem. What I'll do is she'll be in tomorrow morning, as far as I know, to deal with the checks and everything. I'll tell her to email it to you.
That's fine. No, I just want to make sure you guys had it for the meeting. That's all. I don't need it. I'm good.
I made sure I had it.
So Fred, we can't see your face. Do you want to give us a face?
Hi, Nat.
Hey, stand there. Good.
Stan?
Okay, let's rise and do the let's do a just in the confines of our own living rooms, a little pledge of allegiance. Come on. Are you ready?
Ready?
I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag.
of the
United States of America,
And
to the republic,
For which it
for
stands.
which it
stands one nation, under
under
God,
God, indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all. Thank you very much. I'm just filling in here. Stan, maybe you're the vice president now. So I'm just filling in because Linda's not coming. Is that all right with everybody?
Works for me.
Okay.
Works for me too. I heard also that, or I read that Sandy would be late.
Well, we do have our quorum of 3. I'm going to ask for somebody to make a motion that we approve the minutes of the May 14th meeting.
I move that.
Okay. Dave, can we get you to second?
You certainly can.
All righty, let's just indicate that we're all in favor. Stan, you in favor? Yep. Dave? Yep.
Hey, just one question on the agenda. It says the 11th. So are we 11th or the 14th?
I'm sorry, I read it wrong. It's the 11th.
Okay.
So we're making a motion to approve the minutes of the May 11th meeting, and we've got Commissioners Freilich, Brower, and Prentice all voting yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're
Sounds
going to
good.
move on to the treasurer's report, which I don't think we have a treasurer.
He
but
sent the
Dave-
report out, didn't he, Nat? I think I
Yeah,
saw
he
it come
did,
down.
and I had a look at it, but Dave, you asked me the question about what do the bank accounts look like for the reserve accounts. And it does not look like anything as of May 31st actually got moved into the reserve accounts. Now, the balance sheet and the report that he gave us do call for it to have happened, but I don't see it in the bank account yet. So maybe it was just a timing difference that made it, it got entered on June the 1st. But I don't see them in there. The additions to the reserve,
I'll check
the
tomorrow.
additions to the reserves, because we made additions to all 3 reserve accounts,
Yeah.
are in fact not reflected in the bank statements for the period that ended May the 31st.
Yeah. And in regards to that, I never got the 5th statement today in the mail, so I don't know. I don't
Now,
know if it's the one for the checks.
Oh, I know. There's sort of 2 banking accounts and 3 reserve accounts.
Yeah, we had the money market, the checking, and then the 3 reserves.
Okay.
Usually
Well-
the 5th one, I'm not sure which one is missing. I think it might be the checking. I'm not sure.
Yes, it's the checking, because the one that I've got is the reserve where the money just is reserved and you take money out as you need it. That has 527,000 left in it.
Right.
And then I've got the 3 reserve accounts. I have a 50, which is the building. I have an apparatus, which is 67, rough number. 66.6 is the answer. And I have an equipment of 40. So there's a 66 and a 50 and a 40. And the additions that we talked about, and in fact approved as of the last meeting, have not yet been reflected in the bank statements, as I said.
I'll check on that tomorrow.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they want to talk about in the name of Treasury? Okay, moving on. I
Gonna
don't
accept his report now? Or are we just gonna let it ride that he submitted?
I don't know. Well, let's, sure, we'll accept the report. Do I have a motion that we accept the treasurer's report that Jim Pasikoff passed along to us, with the idea that that Dave is going to check with him and the bank to see if those reserve allocations were in fact taken to the bank?
Nat, I think we should wait. I mean, his report is as of May 31st, and it gives numbers which are not shown in the bank statements of May 31st.
Yeah.
Why don't
Oh,
we
hey,
wait?
Jim.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll hold on to it, and
here.
we'll see if we can't gain some insights over the course of between now and the next meeting.
Jim's here.
Jim.
Paskoff just came on.
All right, let's ask Jim while he's here.
He's on mute.
Well, he'll figure that out shortly. I don't see him. Do you guys see him?
I
the
see him.
Oh, I don't see him either.
I don't see him. I only see Fred.
There he is. He's down at the bottom.
Yeah.
He's gonna take himself off mute here momentarily.
I'm unmuted.
There we go.
Hey, guys,
Okay.
Jim, we're on the treasurer's report here. Good evening, Jim. I hope you're doing okay. Are you?
Okay, yeah, my computer didn't work right, so I had to use my iPhone. And I had to get it from the email over to the iPhone. So I'm here, I guess.
There you are. Jim, we have a question for you, because with Dave delivered the bank statements to me yesterday, the bank statements as of May the 31st. And as it has to do with the 3 reserve accounts, I don't see the addition.
The transfer wasn't made till June.
Okay.
Um,
But if I had the balance of the accounts in front of me, we would see a reconciliation between them and your report.
Right, now let me get to my report. Hold on. Nothing is easy.
No, no.
But I mean, gosh, well, I did look at your report, and if in fact the bank's just a day or two behind because of a time.
Yeah, it's just behind. Now, what I did is, if you look on page 1 of the report, you got exchange receivable.
Okay, well, we none of us have it in front of us. We have it, but we don't have. it in
Okay.
front of us. So
Okay,
you tell us.
it's in two places. It's in exchange receivable. You got an $81,000 credit balance in the general fund. And then you have 66,000 in the building fund and 15,000 in the apparatus fund. And then if you go down to page 2, what I tried to do there was to put the allocations in the fund balance section, the top of the fund balance section. So it's got transfer of prior year fund balances, and it's got blacktop
Yeah,
roof, bay
yeah, no, I
floor.
saw that. You were very good to spell out the earmarks.
So that way it sits there on the balance sheet.
That's good, because otherwise we'd lose track of what the money's earmarked for.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was thinking about. I'll have to, I think I'll end up doing something in QuickBooks. I'm going to try to do something in QuickBooks so that that we can see it in there. You have to use a little imagination with QuickBooks, but it'll be in QuickBooks and it'll be in the equity section in QuickBooks so we can see it in the future.
Okay. Jim, would you do me, just because you're good at math, would you just do me a quick addition of how much in total did we put into reserves as of the last meeting?
Okay, again, this is on the page 2.
Yeah,
We started the year with 135,000, and we took 60. What do we take? 66 out of it. So we're left with 50,395 in the general fund.
okay, good. And that was in fact the task that we left ourselves with the last time we met. What are we going to do with the remaining 50? And we could address that now if you want to. Is this an appropriate place to do that?
Sounds good to me.
If you want to, sure.
Okay, well, it's jumping ahead to the report of the long-range planning group, but you know what? Let's do it there. I mean, there is 50,000 of reserve to allocate because it's still in the general fund, and with the long-range planning committee did meet and has a recommendation as to how the 50 could be put into reserves and earmarked as such. But maybe we should wait till we get there. Jim?
So Nat, can I interrupt just to ask for clarification for my purpose? So Jim, there's already, as I added up, $238,000 in various reserves.
No, that's too much.
116, 82, and 40. that right?
198.
Say that again.
198.
I have 116 in the building, 82 in the apparatus, and 40 in the equipment for 238.
I'm sorry, I read the wrong line. It's 116 in building, 81 in apparatus, and 40 in equipment.
So that's 238 altogether. And okay, that confirms my understanding. And what we're going to be discussing later, Nat, is adding 50 more to that.
Well, we have 50 of general, we have 50 in general account that is as a result of a surplus from last year, and we need to do something with it.
Right.
Okay. Is everybody okay? We're going to move. Should we move on to the chief's report?
Are we approving the treasurer's report?
Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Okay, and I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm in favor now.
Okay, so that's the three of us. We're all in favor there. Good. Jim, how you doing? Can you give us, thank you for making the chief's report available and giving us the incident report. Any comments you want to make would be most welcome.
I really don't have too many comments. It's self-explaining. We had the incidents. We did have a kitchen fire, but they luckily saved it with a fire extinguisher. It could have been a bigger event. I think you noticed on line 2 of the chief's report that it did say that the ladder was on the scene first due. followed up by the engine, followed up by the tanker, which was our response call, along with 5 other companies that were on standby. So that was a good call.
Okay,
TEK, I think you saw that is back in service. They're complete physicals now. 4.5 Scott PSI bottles. I can't find them yet. I'm waiting to order some, but they're hard to get due to the virus. I guess the factories are shut down and supply houses are low. I think you're ready to see the rest of them. The district
Okay.
needs to
Yeah, Jim,
follow up.
don't feel like you got a comment, but they're all the, any comments you want to make are, as I said, very welcome.
Okay, I think that's it.
Okay.
Jim, I have one question on the,
Which one?
I'll call it the address mix-up, Glencliff or Greencliff or whatever. Has that all been fixed up and we,
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do when the alarm company comes in and says Greencliff, and the 911 center doesn't really realize that it's Glencliff. And they look at Glencliff and send us to Glencliff, and there is no 30 Glencliff. We ask them that, and then when they said the name, Labrioli, and the problem was they opened up the hatch to the attic. We're familiar with that. They had the same problem last few years with the same problem. So we responded over to that call. We did call the 911 dispatch. They did apologize for that, and they said they corrected it.
well, my concern is a more general one. I mean, I know it's maybe a silly question, but how can we be sure that some kind of mix-up like that doesn't happen again?
You never, there's other places that it could happen. We never know. What we do is we do our best to respond to the location of this. It's a 911 center. They usually, they were changing shifts, maybe something happened. We asked them and they apologized. They said it was their fault and they corrected it. So it should be.
It could be a deadly fault sometime though.
Everything could be deadly. We went to wrong street addresses sometimes, and people call in a car accident, and it's, you know, maybe 4 miles down the road. It's not even where it is because they don't know where they're calling.
I mean, has anybody ever considered giving all of the streets numbers as an example instead of names?
Well, I mean, that's up to the town. If you want to protest on that, or you want to consider going to the town, that's fine. I don't.
Where's Betty Budney when we need her?
No, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here, but if we just established a number for every name and gave the numbers to the emergency center, to match the names, that might resolve this kind of a problem.
Well, I mean, it's very hard to find the number when you don't have a street address to go by.
You mean you're actually looking for the street address as you drive over?
That's how it comes up in Google. When you do it in Google, try it on your phone. That's the only way Google can track it. Otherwise, it doesn't know what you're doing. So when we punch it into Red Alert and we push in Map it or Navigate it, Google takes us right to that address. So it does work very efficient. So it's
Okay.
I think it
Thank you.
works. This is why I did complain, and I did say that would really be kind of crazy if that was a heart attack.
Yeah.
You'd have a really big delayed service.
That's enough for now.
So can anybody else have a question of Jim?
Nope.
All righty, then somebody want to make a motion that we accept the chief's report?
I move that.
That's Stan. Dave, you want a second?
Yes.
Okay, so let's all vote aye. Stan, you're voting aye, are you?
Aye.
Aye.
Dave? And I
Aye.
vote aye. So there's 3 ayes for the chief's report.
Thanks, Jim.
You're
Fred,
welcome.
thanks for coming. Is there anything, Fred's here on behalf of the company. Is there anything that we need to know about or hear about or that you want to report on?
Hi, Rodney did not give me any information. He sent me the email about the meeting in like 5 minutes before, and he didn't give me anything to speak about. I'll answer any questions. I do know that we have a couple of new members or applications, I should say, that we're going to be processed. I believe we're going to vote on it as a company on Thursday at our general membership meeting, all via Zoom, of course. But that should be forthcoming to the district once we have them all into the company and voted on, etc.
Good news. Good news.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred, thank you so much for coming.
Hey, thank you.
Let's move on to correspondence. Dave?
The only real correspondence was from Mr. Butler. He sent us a bill for $350.
Okay.
We have a little under $4,000 left in his account, so we're okay with that.
Okay.
And
Should
the
we
other,
move sorry, Dave.
now the other thing too is I had told the election board that we didn't want to use the firehouse, and they said okay, and I haven't heard anything from them since, so I don't know what's going on with the elections. Obviously, we're not going to have it at our firehouse, so.
Good dodge, Dave. Good dodge. How about apparatus?
That would be Sandy.
That would be Sandy. Okay, well, we'll come back then to Sandy. In case she doesn't come, to anything pressing on that front that we need to know about?
Well, I think it's in the report there that each one has been going out for service, and we're up to the ladder now. That's out. So that'll be out for service, and that'll come back, and then I believe the next one, and would be the last one on the list, is the brush truck 3-2.
Okay.
And we should be finished with service.
All righty. Shall we move to buildings and grounds?
Sure. Okay, the sprinkler people came last Tuesday, did their inspection. We passed the inspection. So that was a 5-year inspection on the piping in the main room. I have 2 electricians on order, one to do the maintenance, yearly maintenance on the air conditioning units. And the other electrician is supposed to come and put in the 240 line for the new washer that we purchased. And then the only other thing, I'm going to start trying to get bids to paint the building and repair any of the stucco that has to be done. Fred, when I get these, I want you to let Rodney know that when I get these bids for painting and everything, right? I'm going to need
Right.
some representative from the fire department, the fire company rather, to okay the colors, because we're going to match them as much as we can to what's there. So I don't want to make that decision on my own. So eventually I'll have to have somebody representing the company to agree to the colors that they come up with.
Is this going to be like little swatches that they're going to send us, or are we going to be looking at a real
Yeah.
sample, or?
No, it's the last time, a year ago or 2 years ago, when I had the guy, he came with the little squares to try and match the colors. But I want the company to make that decision, not me, because I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay, and I'm assuming they'll leave the color palettes with us to make sure that we vote on it, as a company, or do we have to be present when the vendor contractor comes to meet you?
Well, I'll have to find that out. I'm
Okay.
just starting the process to get 2 or 3 bids for that.
Okay, not a problem.
Dave, this is for Station 2?
Yes,
And the sprinklers were just for Station 2?
yes,
And that's where the electricians will be, only Station 2?
yes.
Okay.
Is that it, Dave?
I believe so. We sent the last check to Charlie Polhemus for the hydrant down that's all completed down at the rec center. Jimmy and I have to get a hold of the wetlands inspector. We're going to start working on phase 2 or phase 3, whatever it is down there at the pond.
Phase 1.
hydrant. Phase 1. Okay. Yeah, we did it in reverse. Anyway. I think that's about it for now.
Okay. Fair enough. Finance and insurance. I'll take a quick whack at that. Although there's nothing really to report, we did get our renewal policy from the New York State Insurance Fund, which is, as you guys know, our version of workers' compensation. Stan and I had the chance, or I had the chance to review it with Stan, our expert in this area, and it appears as though we are going to be well within our budget, and it seems to me that our workers' comp will come in around 20,000 net, and that does not, am I right, Stan? I think that is not does not take into consideration the possibility that we get, the very good possibility that we get a, what do you call that? It's
Dividend.
a dividend.
Yeah,
Okay.
that seems to be working very well.
So
We're
no
budgeting-
surprises on workers' comp.
Right. We're budgeting about 25 and the dividend has been about 7 or 8. So
Yeah.
we're in good shape there.
We're in good shape. Okay. Community relations. Well, I'd like to report a very good, the company paid on Memorial Day, came down and turned out in force and hung a couple of wreaths, one down at the landing and then one at St. Philip's Church to commemorate the veterans. And Jim, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate you guys organizing that. I thought it was a good thing.
You,
LoSAP, anything new on LoSAP, Stan?
No, nothing on LoSAP. No.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about a meeting of the Long Range Planning Committee that we had in, I apologize for not doing this in the past, but I did make some notes and they're in your packet, and they don't really need much highlighting because they're pretty straightforward. We had intended to talk some more about truck strategy at that meeting, and we talked a little bit about truck strategy, but the company continues to do research on types of trucks and its continuing effort to look for combinations of trucks, vehicles that can do several functions. So that research is not yet complete, but as it has to do with deferred maintenance items that we could consider taking care of and funding out of what's left of the unallocated surplus. I'm just going to tick off, you guys won't have this in front of you, but we talked about 3 items right off the top. One is the refurbishing of the bailout building at an estimated cost of $20,000. And Jim's there to, Chief Jim is there to answer any questions anybody might have. We also talked about adding doors and some electric power to the steel shipping storage container. You know what that is, Dan? You know that thing that's behind? Well, it's you've been by it many's a time, but you didn't recognize for what it is. And I learned that it is a storage container, but it doesn't have any lights and it hardly has a door. So you can't, it needs some help to be useful. Am I right, Jim?
yes, you are. It's if we put the door in the center, then we can use the left and right part and go in rather than going the long way and step over everything. There's not enough room in there. So we need to go have a door in the center and go left and right.
Yeah,
And
I think
also some electric.
The facility itself is very adequate. Am I right in thinking it's an adequate facility if it had lights and a good way to get in and out?
Yes.
Okay. That has an estimated cost of $5,000 associated with it. And now, Dave, here I'm going to come in on something you mentioned about painting, because the third item that we could use some of this money for, the sense is that you've already got some of it planned, but this talked about power washing, caulking, and painting. Is power washing and caulking something we would do before or after? What do you do? When do you do that? You power wash before, right?
But we had the building power wash last year,
Okay, so we don't need to do that.
but we need caulking and repair of any chips and everything on the stucco before we paint it.
So I can't recall, you mentioned painting. Is that money in the budget somewhere for painting, or is that something that we need to create money for?
No, that would have to come out of the deferred maintenance or.
Okay. All right, well then, so
Yeah, just money.
it needs money. So if I just go back, refurbishing of the bailout building, and Stan, you may want to know what they have in mind to do that, is estimated to cost 20 grand. The fixing up of the storage container is estimated to cost 5, and power washing, caulking, and painting station 2 is estimated to cost 15. So that's a total of 40 there. And then there are 5 items, all of which are in the $2,000 to $5,000 each range, that we could include in this allocation. And they are air conditioning unit, air handling system, restriping the parking lots at Station 1 and 2, landscaping at Station 1, and a hot water heater. Paren, hot water on demand. That was the note I made. Those are 5 items that have an estimated cost of between $2,000 and $5,000 each. So there's an additional 10 to 25, if my math's right, that so we could spend the 50 on these. Jim, tell me again, Jim Paskoff, we have how much left? 56 left or something like that?
50.
50. And is it your recommendation that if we have these uses, that we earmark that 50 for these uses? Where would you have to make a judgment as to which reserve to put it in? You heard me describe the projects. Would you put them all, how would you handle them?
I would probably put most of it in the building and then the rest in the apparatus.
Yeah, this is mostly building. This is, boy, that building reserve. Yeah, this is 25 for the bailout building. That's building. Doors for the doors and power for the storage container. That sounds like building. Power washing, caulking, Station 2 building. And that's 40 right there. Air conditioning, air handling be more apparatus, would it, Jim? Jim Erickson.
No, that was the for the building.
Yeah. Well, then it seems to me the proposal could be, if somebody wants to make it, that we put the 50 that's still in surplus in the building reserve to handle these projects.
Nat, I'd like to first, what the English would call, put a spanner in the works.
Okay.
And discuss this a little bit. I mean, we already have in the existing budget a line called accumulated deferred maintenance, $30,000, which we have not spent in prior years, and that money largely has fallen to the bottom line. It seems to me that we have that. We already have, as I said earlier, $238,000 in various reserves. I would propose that this money, I don't know how we would do it mechanically, be given back to the taxpayers. I mean, we're in a pandemic time. A lot of people are not working. Maybe we could just reduce next year's budget by this $50,000.
How do we do that, Jim? Jim Paskoff.
You don't do anything with it, just leave it in the budget. And then when you do or leave it in the fund balance. And then when we do the 21 budget, we just say we're going to take 50,000 and apply it towards the 21 budget.
Okay. How do you guys feel about that?
I think we're gonna end up spending it.
Okay. Well, we certainly have enough projects, but with the accumulated reserve, or excuse me, the accumulated deferred maintenance of 30, we might as well spend that first and then and see where we are.
Yeah, we still have other things that aren't even, we were putting, the reason we had the money in the building is possibly for the roof and the parking lot. Eventually, the parking lot eventually was going to be $80,000 or more.
Right. And on that point, David, we also have within the existing budget additions to the reserves for the parking lot and the roof and so on. That's already in the existing budget.
Well, that'll be put in.
Yeah.
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 Well, if we've got the 30 to start with, and we can have the rest of it just sitting in the surplus in case we need it, then we should just spend, right?
This is Jim Paskoff. What you can, what can happen is if you start doing these projects on the building and they end up costing more than what you think they are, and you go through the money that we put aside already, plus the deferred maintenance, at that time, we can take the additional 50 and put it into the building fund before we do the 21 budget.
Okay,
Right.
That makes sense to me.
You really you have until December to decide what to do. Well, if you're going to put it in the budget, you got to decide in September. But if you want to keep it in the budget, or you want to keep it in fund balance and decide what to do in December, you can do that also.
okay, all right. Well, I'm okay with that. Dave?
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Well, there we go. I don't think we need to do anything more. Should we keep moving? Grants, anybody got any news on grants?
I gave Linda that envelope for the DEC grant, which we never get. So she was supposed to fill that out by June the 30th and mail it in. Supposedly we get points even though we never get any grants.
Okay. District Safety and Health, Jim, you reported that TEK is doing what they need to do, right?
Yes. I'd like to go back to that air handler. We were talking about the exhaust system, if that's what you meant. And that was
Jim,
70.
I don't know, you have to help me make sure I remember what that, I don't know what that,
I think when you said that to me, I was trying to register what it was, but I think that Stan, we should probably look at the budget and some of these items that aren't in there and we can't get grants for, we should start thinking about how we can fund them, because that's a $70,000 expense just to put in the exhaust system for the trucks.
oh, well then I don't understand. I'll have to come back to figuring what, because these were all described as 2 to 5. So I'm losing track. I see. Okay. I'll have to get up to speed on the bigger picture there. I forgot.
Right, right, okay. Just to keep that in mind when we meet or talk about it, that's a fairly big item, and that before we cut anything or do anything, so these things have been on the budget now for 3-4 years and they haven't been addressed, but it's time now when the money comes to it. And also we have to see next year if we completely have funded the chief's car, so we can purchase that.
Yeah.
So those are things that we have to address.
So Jim, just so I'll remember when you bring it up again, give the, if it's not air handling, it's the exhaust system. How
Yes.
do you refer to this?
That's the exhaust system for the Bay Area for the trucks.
Exhaust system for the Bay Area for the trucks. All right, Kristen, you're right on that? Okay. Thanks,
Thank
Jim.
you. You're welcome.
Is that the Primo vents?
Yes. There's different systems they call it, but yes, that's what.
Okay.
Which brings us to the web. Anybody got anything on the web?
That's the
Anybody
company.
got anything on policies and procedures? No?
I don't think we have anything for that.
Okay.
I think that charge, I spoke to Linda over the weekend. I think that charge that Mark had sent us, Butler, I think she had told Sandy to get in touch with Butler about the policy of
For accidents, yeah.
create the policy for the men not talking to the lawyers and everything, that the lawyer would talk to them.
Media
Right.
thing.
Oh,
Sandy
okay.
would know whether she did that or not, but I think that's what that charge was for.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, I think Linda said last time about having him draft a policy for you guys to vote on.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I don't know if we're
does-
pending.
Does anybody have anything that would fit the description of old business?
I guess that should be where we put the party.
Yeah.
I finally got in touch with Mina at Bear Mountain. I was in touch with the band. We are, as we speak now, locked into November 6th, Friday, for a retry of our event.
Let's hope.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, it took a little bit because she's remote and you're chasing everybody on the emails to find them. Dave, we'll have to hook up at some point, either later this week or over the weekend, so you can sign that contract.
Tell me
And I'll
when-
reach out to Rodney for the company to sign the liquor one.
Whenever you want.
Okay. I just gotta print it out.
That's fine.
Does anybody have anything that would fit the description of new business? Okay. Do we have any public? Well, any of you could be the public if you wish. So this is an opportunity for the public to make a comment if they like.
And make sure there's nothing on there. Hold on. How is it? I gotta Zoom on the Zoom. Hold on. No comments on the Zoom.
So Dave, would you like to make a presentation of the vouchers for us?
Yeah, okay, the vouchers are from May 8th, 2020 until June 4th, 2020. And in the amount of, I just lost a page. I dropped it. Hang on a second, 13,000. Come on. $13,911.59.
Okay. I make a motion that we authorize Commissioner Bauer to pay the vouchers in the amount of $13,911.59.
I second that.
All in favor, would please indicate. Dave, are you good?
Aye.
Okay. Stan, you're good?
Aye.
I'm good. Nice going. Would anybody like to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting?
Me, I move we adjourn the meeting.
I'll
I'll second that. All commissioners, are they in favor of the adjourning the meeting?
Yes.
Yes. I don't want to say Nat, well done. Good job.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, wait, before we go, I'm sorry. I missed my new business. I'm sorry. Can we establish our next Zoom or live or whatever it is we're going to be doing?
Meeting, next meeting.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Not terrible, Kristen, not terrible.
It should be the 22nd then, right? It's 2 weeks.
Second Monday in July would be the 13th.
Oh, that's right, I'm on the wrong month there.
Yeah, July 13th, and I don't see anything competing with that. And the 4th would have been, we would have gotten that out of the way.
Good with me.
Are we good for 13?
July 13th, so be it.
Do we know how we're going to go yet, or we're going to wait and see what they say?
I think we should plan on Zoom and we'll see what we're doing.
Okay. Sounds
Thanks.
like a plan.
Thanks, Kristen.
No, my bad. I should have caught that before.
Anybody else? Fred, Jim, last call here. Everybody all right?
Thank you.
I'm fine, thank you.
Jim Pascoe,
I'm good.
Thank you for joining us, Jim.
Thanks. Thanks.
Ben.
Sorry I didn't get there on time.
Well, you did fine enough. Goodbye, everybody. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
They will.
Thanks. Be good, everybody.
Yes, they will.